Hello, my friends, and welcome to the back neck shaping for the Prism Path Knit Swoncho. I'm excited to walk you through this lesson as you will tackle German short rows to complete some very nice shaping of the Swoncho to allow it to rest nicely on your shoulders and come forward a little bit on the front of your neck so that it doesn't choke you. This is a very fun and easy way to create this shaping. I know that some of you are hearing short rows. You're like, I've never done those before. That sounds complicated. I'm here to tell you that the German short row technique is incredibly easy. As long as you follow my tips and tricks and each step along the way, you are going to be A-okay. So what does it mean? What does it mean when I say back of the neck shaping? Well, if we look down here, look at this sample. You can see this is the front of my Swoncho and it is not blocked yet, okay? But see how the front of the Swoncho dips down a little bit more than the back? That's because of the back neck shaping. You can see down here that we have, however many rows of this pink color right here before we transition into the color work. But do you notice how up here it looks like there are more rows? That's all because of the German short rows. So as I turn this around, this is the back of the Swoncho. So this is our starting point right here. So as we create our German short rows, we actually work them along this way and we create more length back here to allow for this part of our Swoncho to rest higher and fit better on our bodies. That's actually what we're doing. So we use this whole section here and it follows around up to here, right? And you can see here, it follows around up to here. We do the German short row technique to give us that shaping that we are desiring. Can you see that? Okay. This is not a difficult thing to do. Just as I mentioned, it's something that you will find that it's easy to do as long as you sit down and do it all at once. This is not something that I would say, hey, you work on a little bit now, a little bit later. For me, because I get so confused of where I am if I don't just get it all done at once, I'm going to suggest to you that you do the same. So when you're ready to tackle this portion, make sure you sit down and you give yourself at least like 45 minutes to an hour, if not longer, if you're somebody who knits slower, to complete this entire section. Okay. Now you will notice in the instructions, I give you some really great tips for the German short rows. I talk to you about how to, work the German short row technique when you're on the right side and when you're on the wrong side. And all of that is written in the instructions, but I'm also going to go through it here in the video. So without further ado, go ahead and grab your homework. You should have had all of your ribbing complete. We are going to use the same needles that we've used on our ribbing at this point. And if you want to have stitch markers, you can grab stitch markers. It's totally up to you, but we're going to dive in with this next set of instructions. So let's go. And here is our ribbing, nice and complete. Hopefully you are very pleased with it and you're ready to continue on with the back neck shaping. Now, if you are concerned at all that you might mess up in this section, this is a good place to add a lifeline. So add a lifeline to your work right now, and then you can continue on with the German short rows. Totally up to you. You don't have to. But if you're concerned that, hey, I might mess up and I want to be able to get back to where I know my ribbing is perfect, adding a lifeline is a way to secure that. Okay, what we want to do first is we are going to follow the instructions for shaping the back neck. Now, the setup round is just knit. So you did your ribbing and then you will knit one full round. And I've already completed that because you know how to knit. So I'm ready to begin row 1. And this is a row because we're going to be turning these and they're going to be short rows. So for my size, I'm going to knit 25. So I've knit 1 already. And then I'm going to go 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. Once you get to the 25th stitch, you're going to knit 1 more, okay? We're going to knit 1 more stitch and then turn our work. This is where we're going to do are turning on the right side for the German short row. So we've gone to the stitch indicated and we turned our work. So now we have the wrong side facing us. With our yarn in front of our work, we're going to go into that stitch and we're going to slip it purlwise over to our right hand needle. Now we need to create what's called a double stitch, and we're going to do that just like this. You ready? We're going to take this yarn and we're going to go up over top of that right hand needle and pull it back behind our needle back here. Okay. And you can see here what that's done is it's taken the stitch that we had knit that we slipped over and we've pulled it up and it's given us two legs. Okay. These two legs, that is the double stitch. These will be treated as one stitch when it's time to work them. Okay. And you will treat them as one stitch so that way we avoid holes. Another way to avoid a hole is to make sure that you have pulled this yarn here really tight so this double stitch is nice and snug. Okay. Now we're going to continue on with row 2, which is a purl row. Well, our yarn is in back, so we need to bring it back forward, but we don't want this to loosen up, right? So I'm going to just put my hand there so it doesn't loosen up, bring my yarn between my needles and bring it to the front. Now I'm going to continue on with row 2. For me, that means I'm going to purl 25 back to my marker. All right, so there's my double stitch. I'm just leaving it there. I'm going to purl 25 back to my marker. When I get to the marker, I slip my marker, and now I'm going to purl another 25. Okay, and I'm doing 25 because that's how many I need for the size I'm making. 2, 3, 4. Once you purl that 25th stitch, you purl one more. And now we're going to turn with the wrong side. So we have the wrong side. We turn our work. We're going to bring our yarn forward between our needles. Take our right hand needle, go into that stitch as if to purl and slip it off. And again, we're going to take our yarn and pull it up and over top of that right hand needle. And we're going to get a double stitch right there. Okay, we're going to get that double stitch. And now we continue on with our row. So we're on row 3 now. So I'm going to knit 25 to my marker. And then I slip my marker and now I'm on the, essentially the other side over here, right? And I'm going to knit 29. Well, if I knit 29, that's going to be past my double stitch down here, right? So I'm going to have to work this double stitch as if it's a stitch and then continue on, right? So let's get down to where the double stitch is. All right, here's my double stitch and I can see it because it looks kind of funny there, right? It looks funny. Remember, this is not like one stitch and two stitch. These two legs, they're going to be treated as one. So I'm going to go in to both of those legs and knit them together as one. Okay, so that was my number 26, 27, 28, 29, right, for this row. Then I knit one past that. Now I'm going to do the turn as if I'm on the right side, right? So I did the right side. I bring my yarn to the front. I slip, bring my yarn all the way back to the back so I can get that double stitch. And I'm going to be purling, so I bring forward. And I continue, which would be row 4. And I will purl essentially back to my marker. And then I'm going to work my purls on the other side. And again, I will be purling together that double stitch on the opposite side because I'm going to be working past it. Let's get over there. And I'm going to show you how to do that as well. As you come up to the double stitch, again, you will be able to identify it because it looks kind of funny here, right? And again, those are not two stitches. That's one stitch we're going to treat as one, right? It's a double stitch we're going to treat as one. So I go into both of those and purl them together as one. So that would be my 26, 27, 28, 29, work one past 29, turn my work, right? Bring my yarn forward, slip that stitch, bring my yarn up top and over to the back. So I get that double stitch. And now I continue on with the next row. Okay, see that? You're going to continue on in this manner. Whenever you come to a double stitch, you will work the double stitch together as if it's one. And what you're going to get is something that looks a little like this. You saw this when I was showing you the ribbing, but this portion of the work is already completed. So this is the front of my neck. This is the back of my neck. This is the start of my round here. Okay. So you can see this is where I did all of my increase sections. I worked my double stitches together so that they're virtually invisible, but I get that little bit of extra fabric back here on the back of the neck. And now once all that is complete, I'm ready to move on to what would be my color work with my round one. And that is where the fun really starts to begin. Okay. You will also notice at this point, the stitches are still pretty crammed on my needle, right? I haven't changed the number of stitches I have compared to this, but when we go to the next bit, and we start to increase our stitches, that's when you're going to not only change the length of your needle, but when we get to the color work, a lot of people find that using a larger needle compared to when they do stockinette with no color work is better, because then they get the same gauge. All right. Because usually people who will work color work, they tend to knit it a little bit too tight. So using a larger needle allows them to get the same gauge as when they're doing stockinette with like a smaller needle. Okay. So as we continue on, we're going to be changing the length of our needle and the size of our needles, if that's what you need to do when it comes to gauge. All right. So in the next lesson, we're actually going to talk about doing a gauge swatch in the round, and then we're going to move into chart number 1 of the Prism Path Swoncho. But before we can do that, you have to complete the back neck shaping. Remember, complete all of this at once. Don't put this down and then pick it back up. So make sure you have set aside enough time for you to complete this entire section all at once. And then I'll see you in the next lesson. I'm Marley Bird, your By Crafty bestie. I'm so excited you're here. Bye.